What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Elden Ring walkthrough. We are right here at the freezing lake. We are going to take on an ice-based dragon right here in this lake area. But first, I'm going to travel back to Round Table Hold. Main reason being is I'm going to be using the Grafted Blade Greatsword against this dragon because this dragon is resistant to slash damage. Primarily what we're going to be doing with our Bloodhound's Fang is slash damage, and so we're going to be doing like half the damage with the Bloodhound's Fang that we would be doing with the Grafted Blade's Greatsword. The reason why I travel back here is because I want to upgrade my Grafted Blade Greatsword as high as I can get it. I believe I can get it up to +9 now. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. So I'm going to take it all the way up to +9. Okay, and while I'm at it, I'm also going to upgrade the Blasphemous Blade because I'm going to start using it once I get the stats for it. So I'm going to take it all the way up as high as I can. So it is at +6, but I need more runes, which I can fix that real quick. So get this up to +9 as well. Perfect. So now we're gonna go right back to the lake. Before we take on the dragon, there's a couple of pieces of loot we're gonna pick up. One of them is going to be right here, kind of in the lake area, and then the next one's going to be over here. The first one we're picking up is an Ash of War. Whoops, I should have just warped there. The first one we're picking up is the Ash of War. It's called Seppuku. What it does is you can equip it to katanas, and basically what you do is you stab yourself with your sword. It immediately triggers bleed on yourself, which sounds counterintuitive, but it actually is really useful because, well, for one, if you trigger the bleed on yourself, if you also equip the Lord of Blood's Exaltation Talisman here, what that'll do is if you trigger the bleed on yourself or anyone, it will increase your attack power by 20% right away, and that is extremely useful. Also, what that does is it imbues your sword with bleed, which will allow you to trigger bleed on enemies much quicker as well. So Seppuku, very powerful. Especially if you're dual wielding katanas. We're actually going to get the best bleed katana in the game a little bit later on in this episode as well. And so if you dual wield katanas, you put Seppuku on one of them, and then you use the other one that we're going to get later on in this episode, Rivers of Blood. Those are the best. The Rivers of Blood is by far the best bleed katana in the game. People do abuse it in PvP, and it does get on people's nerves in PvP because it is so powerful and it does get that bleed going so quickly. But it is extremely powerful, even in single player as well. So we just got the Seppuku Ash of War. I'm not going to be using it because I'm not running a blood build. But if you are running a blood build, you can't go wrong with Seppuku. You can't go wrong with Rivers of Blood, which again is the bleed katana that we're going to pick up in just a bit in this same episode. So if you're shooting for a bleed build, this is going to be your episode. Okay, so we're about to get the dragon to come on in. So I'm going to throw on the Grafted Blade Greatsword because again, I believe it is strong against or resistant to slash damage. So definitely don't want to be using the Bloodhound's Fang, which basically is based off of slash damage. We'll be doing much more damage with a non-slash based weapon. So you see the fog comes in. It's very hard to see, but eventually this dragon's going to come in and we're going to fight him. I'm going to go ahead and summon my Black Knight Tish. There we go. There's the dragon. I'm going to take on the first part of it on horseback until it knocks me off, and then I'll well, I'm already knocked off, so I guess I'll do this. I'll bring my horse back. I'll bring it back. That's not what I had planned. But yes, instead of blowing fire, this one blows frost breath. And you see when you get close by it, when it stomps and stuff, it gets that frost right next to its feet. So run behind, run back. So yeah, you see the normal fire attacks that most dragons will have are replaced with frost attacks. And I'm doing about 450 damage with each slash with this sword. I'd be doing like 200 with the Bloodhound's Fang. So I am targeting the wings more or less because when When this dragon does the stomps again, they bring up that frost on the ground, which will do frost buildup. So he's going to do his breath, run to the left for that one. And that roar can do frost buildup as well. So when he stomps, run away because that frost will come up out of the ground. Run back. Oh, that hit me. Wow. I thought I was going to run back in time, but I guess not. I'll get back on. Tish is almost dead. But Tish, look at that HP drain though. Tish is... Oh, that's gonna kill it. Awesome. That was sick. I love Black Knife Tish. Okay, definitely one of the best summons in the game. Without question. Okay, so now that we're done with this, I'm gonna throw my Bloodhound's Fang back on. Okay, so where we're headed next is right around here. There's going to be a cave. This is going to be the Spiritcaller's cave. I can't remember. There might be some loot around this area. Mainly, if it is, it's I think it's like crafting stuff. But if not, we're just going to go straight to the cave. Is it up here? Is there anything up here? There we go, nascent butterflies. All right, so here's our cave. This cave is, well, you need stone sword keys to get in. That's not going to be a problem for us because we have plenty. This cave is more or less straightforward. It has kind of a gimmick, in that most of the enemies are spirits that are summoned by those Spiritcaller snails. And that includes the boss as well. So we're going to level up. Let's see here. Take that faith to 15. And one more faith should get us access to use the blasphemous blade. So that's pretty nice. I'm going to use a torch in here just because it is a dark cave. So when you walk in here, if you walk straight ahead, you see that is a cracked floor. You're going to fall through the floor if you walk on top of that. I'm not going to, because if you fall through the floor, you're going to miss a couple items on the way down. I will show you, though, where you would land if you did fall through, just in case you do fall through. So what we're going to do here is just run straight ahead. These spirit wolves, just ignore them. You want to kill the snail. The snail is summoning the wolves. As soon as you kill the snail, the wolves are gone too. And there's going to be a few of these snails in here, so just watch out for them. So got some arteria leaves. So the reason why I said take this path instead of dropping down is because here, on this pathway down, there's a little side tunnel over here. And in here, have a gold rune 10, a hero's rune. You can use that for a ton of runes. We get a rune arc. So pretty solid pickups. If you do drop through, you can get back to this place. You just kind of have to backtrack a bit to get here. And I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so once you get out of here, you're going to kind of want to hook a U-turn immediately. There's going to be a Spiritcaller snail right here. So take this one out. And if you were to have dropped down through that crack in the floor, this is where you would land. So you would come down here, you take out this snail right here. And if you wanted to get back to those items that we just picked up, you would take a right kind of U-turn, go up here, and then you'd get there. There's another Spiritcaller snail down here. He's kind of back in this little crevice. You can take him out, and it'll take these enemies around out right away. Got a golden rune 12, some freezing grease. And there's 2 snails in this room. So we're going to take out the snails first. That's going to be priority. So the first one is way back here. Get the white reed armor. So take this one out. And then there's another one over here. You see that one kind of back in the bushes. Once you take both of these out, all of these enemies are going to be gone. So now we can loot this place in peace. Okay. Let's make sure we grab all the loot here. Already picked that up. That's where the first snail was that we took care of. Here we go. Gold rune 6. And I think that is it in this room. So now we're about to fight the boss. This is a very short cave. So this boss is going to be a Godskin Apostle followed by a Godskin Noble. Back to back. So with my shield back on, we will be summoning Tish for this fight. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the flask. Get in and then summon right away because he's waiting for us. Gonna black flame us, but whatever. Get the aggro on Tish and then go to town. All right, second phase already. Activate Gumby mode. All right, so now it's time for the Noble. Let Tish get it off me. That AoE does last a while, but we're done here. Didn't even get a chance to transform. Works for me. All right, so now these were actually summoned by a Spiritcaller snail. Once you kill both of them, the snail's gonna show up. So then take the snail out, and then we're done. The Spiritcaller snail is the true boss. So we get the Godskin Swaddling Cloth. What that does is that it enhances, I think, increases your attack power with successive attacks. Really works for weapons that have very quick attack speed. And we get the Black Flame Ritual, which is what the Godskin Noble uses, that big AoE. All right, so let's get out of here. And let's see. Let's mark some spots on our map. Down here is going to be a smithing stone, I believe. And then we obviously want to go down here. This is a church that's going to have some stuff for us. And there's going to be some loot just outside of it on both sides. So let's see. Get on horseback. And there's going to be some giant lobster enemies down here. And these ones do blow frost. So just watch out for them. I'm not going to be fighting them because screw the lobsters. Huh. So there's one over here. We're just going to ignore it completely. Where we're headed here, there's one kind of asleep on the ground, and there's one that's going to pop up out of the ground as soon as we get near. So I'm going to grab this item and bail immediately. The other one didn't come out. That is surprising. There it is. I must have hit the exact right spot to avoid it, which I guess I got lucky there, which I will take that. And there's two more lobsters down there. I think there's an arteria leaf near them, but I'm not going to grab it just because I don't want to mess with two more lobsters. Oh, gosh. So we got Somber Stone, Bell Bearing. And I think there's a thing up here, yeah. Smithing 7. Smithing 8s are my bottleneck currently for my katana and hammer. All right, Sacred Tear, so we can level up our flask now to plus 11. Plus 12 is the max, and we're also going to get another Sacred Tear later in this episode that's going to get us to plus 12. Let's see. So we're going to use our flask. I don't believe I have enough to level up. No, not even close, really. So let's level up our flask. So we will get one more tier in this episode that will allow us to take it to max. I think there's an arteria leaf next to this tree. So we do have a lot of ground to cover in this episode. We're basically going to take everything out and the mountaintops of the giant Mountaintop of the Giants area, save for the final boss and the Castle Soul. Which Castle Soul is probably the largest castle, like non-legacy dungeon castle in the game. It's a solid, it'll take a solid, well, it's probably not as big as the Shaded Castle, so I take that back. The Shaded Castle's probably bigger. But it'll take a solid 20 or so minutes to get through that thing, 20 or 30 minutes. So we'll take out the boss and Castle Soul. And you'll see Castle Soul is kind of marked by a guidance of grace. So I do consider that story, quote unquote, story content, even though it's not required for beating the game. Now, the boss of this area is required to beat the game. So we will be taking out the boss, of course, in the next episode. And you know, of course, I'll call that story content as well. So next episode will be considered a story-based episode covering what I just mentioned. So we're going to jump up here. And there's going to be an Everjail for us. Which is Everjail is not too bad. But it's also not a pushover. Take the hits right when we can get him. His attacks, I mean, he's got a bit of range with that spear, and his attacks hit really hard. So with that, he's basically imbuing himself with lightning, so he's increasing his lightning attack. It also, if you have a lightning-based weapon, that buff he gave himself decreases his defense to lightning, though. So if you have a lightning-based weapon, it's going to hit a little bit harder because he actually debuffed his lightning defense but increased his lightning attack. And he can heal, sadly. But he does, you see how he kind of pursues? You can use that to your advantage by doing a Bloodhound's Finesse if you're using this weapon. You see how hard he hits. He hits really hard, which I said you can manage. But he's definitely not a pushover. So see how hard he comes after you? You can use that to your advantage by doing a special there. And yeah, that attack hits really hard. Also susceptible to jump attacks. All right, basically when I get down to half health, that's my cue to hop away and heal. But again, since he charges after you so fast, it leaves him wide open to Bloodhound's Finesse. So that's kind of my preferred way of dealing heavy damage to him. All right, so we get Vike's Dragon Bolt, and we get the Fingerprint set. So he was the guy who invaded us. Well, when I pull my map back up, I'll show you. He's the guy who invaded us way back in Liurnia. Vike, Fingerprint Vike. He invaded us here at the Church of Inhibition, like a long time ago. Let's see here. So for starters, I'm going to warp right here to this side of Grace, and then we're going to backtrack just a little bit to the kind of the area where the Heretics Rise was, and there's going to be some stuff that we pick up. There's a Heretics Rise. That's where we got the final legendary sorcery. And there are scarabs around here. One of them is just a Crimson Scarab. The other is a Cerulean Scarab. So you don't really get anything from those. There we go. There's an Arteria Leaf here. So I'm not going to worry about picking them up. And over here, there's going to be 2 marionettes suspended by a balloon. If you pop the balloons, you get a gold rune 12. You don't even have to kill the marionette. You just have to pop the balloon. There we go. There's the first one. Second one's over here somewhere. There it is. Oh, looks like there's a third one too. Oh, ow. I can't go backwards on my horse. right, there we go. All right. So now we're just going to head straight back to this side of Grace. And move forward. So there's a smaller castle that we're going to take care of down this way. Out here, there's going to be a stone sword key. There's going to be a few enemies that we fight, and there's going to be an Ash of War that we pick up. But then we're headed to this little fort. We will take out some of these. Oops, I have my bow equipped still. We're going to take out some of these enemies. Oh, I can probably level up. I'm going to use my Blasphemous Blade in this area. Because I think I can get the required level here. Yep. So here we go. 16 faith, which plus the 5 that we get from our rune arc will give us 21 faith that we need to equip the Blasphemous Blade. So I'm going to use this for a little bit. Very good weapon. Looking at it, recovers HP upon defeating each enemy. So that stacks with our talisman that we have equipped that also replaces HP. And the weapon art on this thing is pretty ridiculous. Awesome range with it. But yeah, look at that. Look at that damage. That damage is just nuts. It does use quite a bit of FP, so I might put some levels into FP. So again, the way that I got up to the stat requirements to use this is I have 16 faith plus the 5 that I'm getting from the rune arc. Alternatively, if you don't want to be using a rune arc, you can use the here it is, the 2 Fingers Heirloom, which will give you plus 5 faith. So if you don't want to use a rune arc, you can always just use that talisman, and you'll get the requirement as well. I'm just choosing to do it by way of rune arc. And this thing does, as you can see, pretty hefty damage. And heals you with every kill, and the weapon art is insane. So lots of reasons to use this thing, and it hits really hard. I believe the damage is split between physical and fire though. So if enemies are resistant to fire, then you know they're not going to take as much damage. But that's not much of a concern really. Okay, got the Monk's Flame Mace. I don't think that's a guaranteed drop. So here's our Stone Sword key. Oh. I was trying to use my special and I got whacked. That didn't do quite as much as I had hoped, but all right, there's our Stone Sword key. Yeah, there's a ton of enemies out here. So our Scarab is going to be up on one down on that totem pole right there. So I'm going to go ahead and take the beacon off. Let's see here. And shoot it down. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, got Prelate's Charge. So now we're going to go into the fort. And this fort is not a long fort at all. So go straight across. This takes you to the back. Oops, I missed. There's going to be a gold rune tin back here. There's going to be a couple enemies and a couple dogs on this first floor. Oh gosh, I'm stuck on the wall here. Getting the heal with every kill. Big time benefit. Okay, not much up here, except, you know, there's a couple rats and that, the smoldering butterflies that we picked up. You see, we can summon in here. I mean, it's I don't think really necessary, but it does give you the option to. So I want to climb up this ladder. It's another one of these flame guardians. I don't know why these enemies have their name on top of their health bar, but they can attack in very quick succession. So it's hard to knock them out of a combo once they get it going, because their attacks are generally pretty quick. And they themselves move pretty quick too. Okay, got another one over here. All right, smithing stone 7. So here's the path forward. Jump over here. And yeah, there's not an item over there. And we're going to fight kind of a... There's a couple dogs in here. Take these out first. We're going to fight like an NPC enemy. He's got a big old shield, which is why that attack didn't do much damage. But that's fine. Not too bad. Killing him, we get the one-eyed shield. That's the shield he was using. It can fire, like, fireballs out of it. So there's no ladder over there. You can actually hop over the wall right here. And there's an item over there. This is the front side of the castle. Smoldering butterflies. So over here where there's like a little recess in the wall, you can jump over this to get back. Now we just gotta go back up and take this path, this outside path around again. So run and jump. And now we can climb to the top of the tower. So over here, there's gonna be a ladder to the top. And up here, we got a treasure chest with the Giant's Prayer Book. So there's a bunch of flame-based spells in this thing. So let's go on and take it back to our friendly neighborhood Turtle Pope. I mean, there's nothing that I'm going to buy in particular, but I do want to turn in all of the prayer books.
Greetings.
Oops, want to give prayer book.
Oh, what very well. Heresy, all thing.
Okay. So what we got from that is incantations, these flame-based incantations. And we'll go ahead and warp to Round Table Hold as well, because we did get a bell bearing. So we'll turn that in as well. So we got the Somber Miner Bell Bearing 3. We also got the Glovewort Pickers Bell Bearing 2. I think we got that in a previous episode. And what we'll do is we will warp back here. So we unlocked this side of Grace in the previous episode. This is right by where we got the map fragment. So we're going to warp right here. Okay, so we're back here at Mountaintop of the Giants. If you don't have this side of Grace already, if you remember that fort we were just at just a bit ago, right over there, it is literally just across this gap, just right over here on across that chain, and you'll get here at this side of Grace. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make a big loop around this. I guess it's a plateau, and we're gonna get pretty much all of the loot. There are a lot of really tough enemies up here, so just know that there's going to be some obstacles. I'm not going to do much combat up here because really fighting these enemies is not worth it, in my opinion. I mean, there's a bunch of giant birds, some giant hands, some even larger hands of they're the same type of hand enemy that we've seen before, but they're even larger than the ones that we've seen before. And it's just not worth it, in my opinion. There's a bunch of giant enemies. There's just all kinds of nonsense up here. So let's see. We're just marking some points of interest. This is a church where an invasion is going to happen. There's going to be an Ash of War up here, so I'm just marking some points of interest. So basically, we're just going to hit these points, and I'm gonna warp it to morning time. We're gonna hit these points really quick. Basically, just grab the loot and bail. At the church, we are going to get invaded, so we do have to fight an enemy there. I'm actually going to equip my Bloodhound's Fang just because I'm more comfortable with the move set. And that this invader, in my opinion, I think would be the hardest NPC invader in this game. So just beware. It is very difficult. But for those of you who are going for a blood build, the reward is the Rivers of Blood katana. And that's going to be the best katana for a blood build. And you're going to see why this sword annoys people so much in PvP, because it basically instantly triggers bleed. And it just does absurd amounts of damage as a result. All right, so I'm just picking up these items. I'm going to run right past the bird. Not going to linger. All right, got what we wanted there. And you see there's a bunch of enemies that are like fighting each other here. So we got two birds fighting a giant. I'm not going to involve myself in that little skirmish. No need. And once we get to this church, it's going to kick us off our horse because we're about to get invaded. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run inside the church real quick and trigger the side of Grace in here, because if we die, then we'll respawn right here. So you see we're being invaded by Bloody Finger Okina. He is really, really tough. He's dual wielding katanas. He's got that Rivers of Blood katana. And you're about to see, yeah, that's the weapon art for the Rivers of Blood. You see it has range even, and it just instantly will trigger bleed. So keep your distance. I prefer to do jump attacks on him and then back away, because yep, there's the weapon art. That's the I think it's called Corpse Piler. That's the weapon art for the Rivers of Blood. And if you get hit by that directly, you're gonna get bled pretty much immediately. And people in PvP just totally shamelessly spam that weapon art, and it drives people nuts. But especially in there it is. In PvP, it drives people nuts, but in single player, I mean, you can just shred bosses with this thing. You can even trivialize the hardest boss in the game with Rivers of Blood. So we just killed Bloody Finger Okina. Rivers of Blood katana is ours, and we get the Okina mask, which I believe enhances bleed, I think. Let me check it out. It enhances something, the Okina mask. Raises dexterity is what it does. I knew it enhanced something. Okay, so we got a sacred tier right here. This sacred tier is going to get us going to upgrade our flask to its maximum potency. So increase HP FP replenished by flask. We try to do this. It says it cannot be replenished any further or increased any further. And if we try to add a charge, it's already at maximum. So we're at maximum flask charges, and we're at plus 12, which is maximum potency, I guess you could call it. So our flask is maxed out. If you go around this rock, there's going to be a bunch of arteria leaves and a bunch of hand enemies as well, so I'm not gonna stick around for too long. But if you circle around, there should be a bunch of these that you can pick up. There's some more here. I think there's some more over here too. There we go. And again, you can craft some good things with these things. Notably, off the top of my head, Exalted Flesh requires them, and there's a couple other things. So what we want to do is we want to climb up this rock, and we can get to the mouth of the skull, get another Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone, which is the plus 10, or plus 25, I should say, Smithing Stone, which we don't have anything at plus 24 yet, so we can't technically level up anything to plus 25 yet. Most notably our katana and our hammer, which I've been leveling up at least throughout this playthrough. Somber 8s are my, or not Somber 8s, Smithing Stone 8s are my bottleneck right now. So what we want to do next is jump up to the top. There's an Ash of War up here. And then to get back down, you want to jump right on top of that Spirit Spring jump. Otherwise, it'll be a lethal fall. All right, let's see. We've done everything here that we need to do. There's going to be some items over here. Let's see. One of them is going to be inside of a scarab. And there's going to be some items over here. We're going to get, and then there's like a golden seed there. And then there's another item like kind of around here. And then there's, I ran out of beacons, but there's a starlight. We're going to follow this path around here. There's going to be a starlight shard here that we're going to pick up. And then there's going to be another gold rune kind of like in this area. If I have a chance to pull my map back up on the way, I'm going to do it. But I might not be able to because there's going to be a bunch of enemies around here. And it might block me out of pulling up my map. So we will just have to wait and see. But yeah, see the shiny up there? It's one of those shinies that teleports when you get too close. That is one of the markers we placed down, is for that shiny. Or that scarab, rather, I should say. And there's a side of grace over there, too, that we're going to pick up. And there should be an item down there. There's... The reference point for some of these items is enemy placement. So I might have to reset the level just to get the enemies back to where they normally are so I know where the item locations are. So this, I'm going to use Barrage because I don't want this thing to teleport. Well, okay, never mind. It fell down. Oh, but it fell to its death, so I got the Smithing Stone still. So that ended up working out. All right, so see that bird? That's what I meant. That bird right there is right on top of the item that I was looking for. Sometimes, though, that bird gets involved in combat, and so it takes away my ability to know where that item is. See that hand? See the giant hand? Oh, gosh. There's a couple of those up here. And they are a pain. All right, so I'm looping around here. I don't want anything to do with that giant hand, man. Those things are... I mean, what were formerly to us known as the giant hands are annoying enough to deal with, and those are even more so. All right, so here are going to be, I think, some smaller hands, but then we have an item to pick up, and then there's a side of grace over here that I'm going to hit. Once I hit the side of grace, I'm going to pull my map back open because I'll be able to place some more beacons now. Okay. I'm actually going to take these off so I can reset at 1. So let's see. There's going to be an item here, and then there's going to be like a rune item here, and then here's where that golden seed was, and then there's a starlight shard around here, and then we're going to kind of loop around the edge of this cliff, and there's going to be like a sacred tier, or a flask tier item like here, something like that. Okay. And then that's going to be pretty much it for this area. So... I mean, this area is kind of empty. I mean, there's not like any caves or anything up like that up in this particular section. However, we're going to sort of backtrack. We're going to be on the upper level, however. We're going to backtrack to kind of towards where we started this area in. All right, here's our item. And there's actually going to be a hero's grave that we're going to take on. And there's going to be another giant hand around here, I think. Maybe not. But on this section of the plateau particularly, there's not much other than these little bits of loot that we're picking up. And, you know, these enemies that I have no desire to actually fight. Where's the beacon? I'm going to take this beacon off. Okay, I think I already did. I already took it off. All right, so number 4 is going to be the Starlight Shard. There we go. And then number 5 is going to be our flask item. Oh, snap. All right, so it'd be easier for me to get down there if I had my map open because I could know exactly where I needed to go. Because that is a lethal ball. Yeah, I want to jump over here, kind of where this skull is. You can jump on top of this thing. And then you can jump back here. And jump down here, and oh, whoa. Oh, golly, that stupid, oh. That is awful. Okay, I just want to loop around just kind of the edge here. Don't fall off, obviously, but yeah, once you get to this spot, this is where you want to be. Just kind of hug the edge, and then once you go through this little spot, you're going to see a bunch of little hands that I'm going to ignore completely. And there is my tier. And this one, like, it doesn't work for physical damage, but it converts other types of damage to health, I think. Something like that. And we're back at our site of grace where we started. Let me show you where we're going to go next. All right. So, yeah, as I mentioned, this entire section up here on this plateau is really just giant enemies and loot. There's really not much else up here. So where we're headed next is down this way, which there's a couple pieces of loot we're going to pick up down here. Notably, there's going to be something right here and something kind of around here. And then this is going to allow us to cross over to the top of this part where this is the hero's grave I was talking about earlier. So we already explored down here. And this is kind of where we entered the Mountaintop of the Giants area, but we could not get up here before. But now since we're on this kind of plateau, we can hop over here and do this hero's grave as well. And the hero's grave is going to be the last thing we do in this episode. And then next episode, as I said, we're going to take on the fire giant, which is the main boss of this area. And we're going to be doing Castle Soul, which I'm going to consider both of those kind of story path content. The fire giant, obviously, because you have to get through the fire giant to complete the game. And then Castle Soul is Castle Soul is marked by a guidance of grace on the map. So even though it's not technically required, I'm going to consider it quote unquote story content because my criteria for what is story content is places that are marked by guidances of grace on the map. So that's both going to be packed into one episode. Okay, I got the item here. There's a hand waiting for us. And there's a hand underground too, so watch out for that one. More hands. Oh, goody. Okay, the Somber 7 almost fell off the edge there. Whew. And here we can jump over the gap. And Down there. Oh, snap. Down there we've already explored. But now we're up top. And we're going to do this. And that's going to be all for today in this episode. And this spot, it's not too long of a dungeon. There are some pretty tough enemies in here. There's more of the cats that we have to fight. The boss isn't too bad, but there are some cats. I'm probably not going to fight all of the cats. I think they're actually dogs, but I call them cats because they look more like cats than they do dogs. That's just my opinion. And I am going to be using my Bloodhound's Fang down here just because I'm more comfortable with it. And I'll use Blasphemous Blade unless I get into trouble. Because I do like the healing effect, and the weapon art is very good. All right, so through that stone sword door, we got Flame Protect Me. There are points where I will switch to the Bloodhound's Fang, though. So here we got a dude. Whoops. Ow. Ow. Come on. All right, so through here is a fake wall. Got a gold rune 11, and that's just a dead end. And so this is another dungeon where it has those spots that are lit up on the floor, and that some of the enemies are shadowy, and you can't attack them until they go into the light. So there's one of our cat friends. Grave Glovewort 7. We got some imps up there too. So run straight past. Go in the light. Anything that goes in here is going to be exposed. And they're not, they will be invulnerable until they're in the light. So I kind of, if I can get the dodges right. I like the dodge and then hit when he does the triple overhead, triple airborne slashes. Oh, gosh. Getting destroyed. Now this imp wants to join the party. That's just wonderful. All right, come on. Ha! That worked out for me. But that didn't work out for me. Dadgummit. Okay. I am gonna use Bloodhounds just because I'm way more familiar with how the moves work. I really wanted to mix it up, but I just function much more smoothly with this weapon. I am going to use the Blasphemous Blade in other spots where fighting isn't as crucial as it is here. But these enemies are tough, as you can see, and I'm just much more comfortable with this weapon. Which makes me sad, because I do want to use the Blasphemous Blade, but I gotta win. First and foremost. Alright, come on here, kitty kitty. I'm gonna pop a rune arc. Give get my stats back. Come on. Kitty, kitty, here. Why are you being like that? See, the Bloodhound's thing, I can do the special, and then that gives me distance after doing it. Whoops. There we go. And I'm even after killing that cat, I'm in better shape flask-wise than I was before. So come under here, got a grave 9, and then there's an ambush, of course. So lure these imps back up here. Okay. And so this is another spot where you can use Margit's Shackle to control these totems. Just makes your life a little bit easier. It's not as beneficial as it was in that other grave level, but it still works here. So I'm still going to do it. Just makes it a little bit easier to control. You see that one went down? And we're actually going to need it to go back up because it controls a... and watch this. So you can bring him back up. It controls a light spot that you need. He's going to get roasted. Yeah, stay right there. Stay right there. There you go. So I'm just going to use it again and it'll bring it back down. And so when it's see how it's not connected? There's a hole there in the ceiling. When that's all the way up, that actually spawns a circle of light that you need to kill some stuff. But don't bring it back up until you're through here because that fire will go all the way through that tunnel. But you see, when it's all the way up, we're going to use a stone sword key to get through here. When it's all the way up, it activates this light circle. So there's the pillar. If the pillar were down, then this light would not be activated. And of course, beware, ambush. Where are you? Come out here, kitty. No, it's not a kitty, but imps. Lots and lots of imps. Yeah, one at a time would be ideal. Oh crap! I can use the shackle to bring it back up though. Oh, he fell down. That imp is probably gonna be a pest. All right, cranial vessel candle stand that functions as a giant hammer. Freezing grease. And is that shadowy imp going to be down here now? Yep, there he is, but he's not going to bother me. I'm just going to leave. Okay. Yeah, he's staying back there. Good boy. So this is a double-sided elevator. And this also controls a circle of light. So the elevator's down, so that light is not triggered. However, you send the elevator back up, that light will be triggered. And then there's actually going to be another elevator we can ride down. We're going to do that in just a second. There we go. There's the light that we need. This door we're going to unlock later. And we can't really do much here. But what we need to do is take this down. So pull the lever. Get in and then go along for the ride. You see there's another cat waiting for us. Yippee. All right, come over here. Come on. Don't be shy. That was some crafty dodging there. That allowed me to keep the pressure on. And I didn't even take damage in that encounter. Nice. Okay. This one I'm just going to run past. I'm not fighting this one. Screw this one. I'm going to get the item. Go up the ladder. And you'll notice when we were in that previous room up top that there was a elevated section that we were not able to get to. Well, this ladder takes us to the top of that elevated section. There's a few items up there that we're going to pick up. Grave Glovewort. And that's it. So we're going to have to go back down to where we just were. So we're going to have to trigger the elevator again. And yeah, we'll go ahead and pull this switch. I was wrong before. I think I said that the switch was on the other side of this door. No, the switch is on this side of the door. So this guy functions as the lever that opens the boss door. So you have to kill him to get to the boss. The boss door is right on the other side of him. So you got to lure him to come into the light. Come on. And once he's in, you know the drill. Up. All right, somewhere a heavy door has opened. Now we're going to take this elevator back down. There we go. And as I said, I'm not going to kill the second cat. Got the Watchdog's greatsword. Yep. You stay over there. And this is optional, but if you kill this thing, you can get some good loot. Sneak up behind it. Do a bloodhound. All right. Get the giant seal, which I believe enhances flame magic. And got a great grave glovewort. So what you can do now is there's a hole over here. You can drop down. And really what it does is it makes a circle. So there's a ladder that we climbed up to get to that room. And then we just drop right down here. And that's all you can do up there. So this elevator, I don't think you can ride back up. So I should have saved the ladder for this part because we have to climb up the ladder again. But oh well, it's fine. I did things in probably not the ideal order. But I saw that there's that second cat, and I was like, I'm not going to fight this one. I'll show you how to run right by it. And, you know, I had to do it again later anyway. But it's all good. So now it is boss time. So I'll just point this out. You see there's kind of a hole on the other side of the rail there. That drops us down to where that magma enemy was that we just fought, where we got the giant seal thing and we got the great grave glovewort. So you could drop down there as well. All right, and here's our boss. This is another Zamor enemy. I think they're a hero of Zamor or something like that. I'm going to summon for this fight. It's not too bad. So I'm going to pop my Physic Flask here. I'm actually going to take Margit's Shackle off. And then summon right when I get in. Ancient Hero of Zamor. So like the other ones, this one does Frost buildup. Frostbite buildup. So wait till the aggro's off of you. Well, that didn't go as planned, but... Alright, second phase. Do frost stuff on the ground. Tish going to town, though. And that might take it out. Is the HP drain enough to do it? Nope, not quite. But then Tish with the follow through. There we go. We get the Zamora Curved Sword. Very good curved sword. It does frost damage, as you could imagine. And we get the Zamora armor set. For a while in my first playthrough, well, not for that long, but there was a point in time where I dual wielded that curved greatsword with the Bloodhound's Fang, because I had the Bloodhound's Fang that did bleed, and I had that one that did frost. So pretty compelling combination if you want to dual wield. And that is all for this place, guys. So I'm going to warp back here to the foot of the forge, and then this is where we fight the fire giant. So we're going to do that in the next episode, as I said. So stick around for that. As for now, I'm going to well, I'm going to warp up. Level up. I'm going to level up. Let's see. I'm going to split some levels between mind and endurance. So mind will allow me to do more of my weapon arts without depleting my FP bar all the way. And then endurance, if I want to wear some heavier armor later, I can do that with more endurance. And what do I need for another one? I'm going to go ahead and get another level, because I don't want 83,000 runes going into a boss fight, so I should have plenty. That's probably too much. Yeah. Oh, well. I'll have 30,000 runes going into a boss fight instead of 80,000, but that's just fine. All right, guys. That's going to be it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. So stick around, and we'll see you then.